This is a reply to a video I just done where I said the Earth's core was possibly an ice core instead of an iron core. And this person said, but ice and water can't create a magnetic field. It has to be metal. Well, unfortunately, if you're assuming that the actual core is what's causing the magnetic field, then you'll realize that the actual inner core apparently spins, according to some people. However, other researchers say no, it doesn't spin. Other researchers say sometimes it even stops for 70 years. But if you go with the geographic poles, north and south, determined by the planet's overall rotation and not directly affected by the inner core. And also the magnetic poles, this is what mainstream say, are influenced by the liquid on the outer core. So again, I'm talking about the inner core being ice. So either way, I'm still more than likely right. Breaking news. Scientists discover water source in outer space 3 times greater than the Earth's oceans. If you go down to read, it's basically saying that a star is found 450 light years away and surrounded by a staggering amount of vapour. It goes on to talk about it being some sort of water. Funny enough, this tablet here in the British Museum that's done by the Anunnaki, the alien gods that created us, they actually tell us that Apsu, which is our sun, was formed in waters, which is why they say the waters mingled in the actual tablet. And so if you're interested in learning properly, obviously I'm already ahead of the game. I've already done a video way back where it's called Alien Bible Evidence, Genesis Corrected. That one actually shows you where it's talking about, the tablets are talking about how the solar system's formed. In fact, I've also got on my website a planet family tree which shows you which planets were formed first. So the Sun and then Tiamat. Hello and welcome to another amazing documentary by our truehistory.co.uk. How our solar system formed, solved.
While I go on about the Anunnaki gods that came here and created us, there are tablets that talk about things we didn't or shouldn't have known when the ancient tablets were first written. Now, in this case, just in the last few days, mainstream science has put out a press release explaining that they now believe a type of water that is in space formed the sun and then planets. I'll read this article out now, then I'll show you that the Anunnaki ancient tablet already told us.
Telescope focused on HL Tauri, a sun-like star 450 light-years away, revealed an abundance of water. Scientists utilizing the Atacama Large Millimeter Submillimeter Array, ALMA, have uncovered a remarkable presence of water vapor in the inner region of a gas and dust disk surrounding a young star, potentially marking the birthplace of planets, interesting engineering reported. The telescope focused on HL Tauri, a sun-like star located 450 light-years away, revealing an unexpected abundance of water, estimated to be at least 3 times the volume of Earth's oceans. Lead author Stefano Facchini from the University of Milan expressed astonishment at capturing an image of oceans of water vapor in the same region where a planet is likely forming. The findings provide unprecedented insights into the conditions conducive to planetary development. These discoveries challenge previous debates on Earth's water origin and propose a mechanism for delivering water to forming planets before potential asteroid collisions. This suggests a possible influence on planetary chemical composition, akin to Earth's development 4.5 billion years ago. The water-rich gaps detected around HL Tauri indicate an active accumulation of stellar material, providing crucial information on the early stages of planet-like bodies. This local water reservoir may enhance a planet's habitability potential as it evolves. While Earth-based telescopes face challenges in mapping water distribution due to atmospheric interference, ALMA, situated in Chile, overcame these limitations, showcasing its remarkable capabilities. This groundbreaking research parallels a similar discovery around the star PDS-70, demonstrating the importance of water vapor in understanding planetary system development. The findings, published in Nature Astronomy, represent a significant leap in our understanding of planet formation and potential habitability factors.
Now, let's read the translations of the Enuma Elish tablet that is in the British Museum.
The first tablet. When in the height heaven was not named, and the earth beneath did not yet bear a name, and the primeval Apsu, who begat them, and Chaos, Tiamut, the mother of them both. Their waters were mingled together, and no field was formed, No marsh was to be seen. When of the gods none had been called into being, and none bore a name, and no destinies were ordained.
It's believed that the Apsu was the sun in our solar system. There was water in space. This is what NASA says about water in space. Enormous amounts of water, in gaseous form, exist in the vast stellar nurseries of our galaxy. The Hubble Space Telescope peered into the Helix Nebula and found water molecules. Hydrogen and oxygen, formed by different processes, combine to make water molecules in the ejected atmosphere of this dying star. This is the translations from the Moor-Hen collection. They are pretty much the same as the Enuma Elish translations, but in an easier format to understand.
When it all started, in the above, there were no gods in the heavens, and in the below, Ki, there was no name for the firm ground. Apsu, their first leader, was all alone in the void. In the heights of the above, there were no celestial gods yet, and in the depths of the below there were no celestial gods either. Apsu ruled the void all by himself. Then his winds mixed the waters of the beginning, and Apsu cast a divine and clever spell over the waters. He slept soundly in the deep of the void. Tiamat, the mother of everything, became his wife. She, indeed, was a mother from heaven and a watery beauty.
The mother of everything isn't the creator of everything. Tiamat was a watery planet. In fact, it was an ice planet. Watch my documentary on the Norse gods, where I explain the Norse myth of a frost giant was in fact Tiamat, the planet.
Apsu's little Mumu then gave birth next to him, and he gave Tiamat a gift to bring to him as his messenger. Only she can have a gleaming metal, gold, that lasts forever.
We are not sure what Mumu was. It could have been a wormhole, portal, dust, or just a huge sun flare, or something else.
Apsu gave this beautiful gift to his wife. Then their waters mixed, and they had divine children to bring into the world. The celestials were created in both male and female forms. Lamu and Lahamu were their given names.
Then were created the gods in the midst of heaven. Lamu and Lahamu were called into being. Ages increased. Then Ansar and Kisar were created.
I have created a family tree on all the planets and their names, and which planet gave birth to which. Please remember, the Anunnaki, gods, always spoke about objects in heaven, which we know is space, as if they were alive. If these planets had personalities and mouths and eyes, this is just how they spoke about them. The first children of Tiamat was Mars and Venus.
If we believe mainstream science and the Anunnaki texts, then it's clear that a water-type substance in space forms stars and planets. The question you are thinking is, how did the Anunnaki know this, if this happened before their planet came into our solar system? Two easy answers. One, we have worked out now that water creates planets, so they could have done the same. Two, watch my excellent documentary called Solar System, How the Anunnaki Knew. You can get that video on my website, ourtruehistory.co.uk, along with a few thousand other videos. Sadly, this evidence negates the need for a god creating the planets. You could argue that the god made the waters that made the planets, but that's not what the Bible says, so no point in changing the Bible to fit a version that people want to be true. Remember, if you want to see the evidence that the Anunnaki were the gods in the Bible, visit my website. Hope you enjoyed this, ourtruehistory.co.uk.
The Watchers, Fallen Angels, solved.
If you are new to my videos, you'll be thinking, why can this unknown person solve with evidence what no one else has done? That's because I've already solved many mysteries with evidence. I've been doing this for over 40 years and have been called the foremost expert. I'm not on TV, but that doesn't make my research any less impressive. For example, here are just some of the mysteries I've solved, which you can go and watch the documentaries right now from my website, ourtruehistory.co.uk. I have shown who Yahweh really was. I have shown Adam and Eve were on a spaceship for the first 24 years of their life. I have put out the evidence that Jesus' father was not who you think he was. I have shown what Valhalla was. I have shown the mark of the beast already happened. I worked out that the Greek god Kronos was not Zeus' father, and I show who he was as an Anunnaki, and so much more. Now on with this video.
First, we need to see what the words fallen angels and watchers mean. This is what mainstream will tell you. The terms fallen angels and watchers originate from ancient religious and mythological texts, primarily within the context of Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions. Here's what they generally mean. Fallen angels refers to angels who are cast out of heaven for rebelling against God or failing to fulfill their divine duties. In Christian theology, the most famous fallen angel is Lucifer, who is often associated with Satan. These angels are depicted as beings who defied divine authority and were punished by being expelled from heaven, becoming associated with evil or corrupt forces in the world. The concept of fallen angels is found in various religious texts. In Christianity, the fall of Lucifer and other angels is depicted in Isaiah 14:12, 15, and Revelation 12. 7, 9. Fallen angels symbolize rebellion, sin, and the consequence of turning away from God. They are often depicted as agents of chaos or temptation. The Watchers. The Watchers are a specific group of angels mentioned in ancient Jewish texts, particularly in the book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text not included in the canonical Bible. They were sent to watch over humanity, but ended up becoming corrupt. According to the book of Enoch, the Watchers descended to earth, lusted after human women, and fathered a race of giants called the Nephilim. Their actions were seen as a violation of divine law, leading to their punishment. The term Watchers comes primarily from the book of Enoch and other ancient Jewish writings. These angels were tasked with observing humanity, but fell into temptation. The Watchers are associated with a story of divine beings falling from grace by becoming too entangled with the earthly realm. They are often connected to themes of corruption, forbidden knowledge, and the mixing of divine and mortal beings. Some people think they are same, and I'll explain later if they are the same, but here's mainstream view. Fallen angels and watchers are related concepts, but they are not exactly the same. Here's a breakdown of their relationship and key differences. Fallen angels are a broad category that includes any angel who was cast out of heaven for rebelling against or disobeying God. The most well-known example is Lucifer, who is often equated with Satan after his fall. Origin: the idea of fallen angels is found in various religious traditions, especially in Christianity, where it refers to angels who followed Lucifer in rebellion. The Watchers are a particular group of angels mentioned in the book of Enoch and other ancient Jewish writings. They were tasked with watching over humanity, but ended up disobeying their divine duties. The Watchers' fall happened because they lusted after human women and fathered the Nephilim, a race of giants. Their transgression led to their punishment by God. The Watchers have a specific narrative and role in ancient Jewish texts, primarily the book of Enoch. While the term fallen angels can apply to many angels, the Watchers refer to a distinct group with a particular story of disobedience. The Watchers, after their transgression, are considered fallen angels because they were punished and cast out of their divine role. However, the broader concept of fallen angels includes many other angels, such as Lucifer, and those who followed him, who rebelled against God for different reasons. The Watchers' fall was tied specifically to their lust for human women and the resulting Nephilim, while other fallen angels, like Lucifer, fell due to pride, rebellion, or other reasons. Now we can look at what my research shows. Remember, if you've seen my other videos, you know the Bible has been changed many times. Let's first look at the fallen angels.
But if we look at the word Lucifer, it was added to the NIV Bible in 1978. The reason is because the correct wording from Young's literal translation is, "How hast thou fallen from the heavens, O shining one, son of the dawn? Thou hast been cut down to earth, O weakener of nations." As you can see, it doesn't say Lucifer. Shining one, son of the dawn, is a literal rendering of the Hebrew term Helel ben Shachar. In many English translations, this has been rendered as Lucifer, a name derived from the Latin word for light bringer or morning star. However, YLT avoids using the Latin term and sticks to a more direct translation of the Hebrew words. The Hebrew Bible was written before Latin became a widely spoken language, which means to use the word Lucifer from Latin would be wrong because it's a name made up way later. If you watch my documentaries on Satan and Lucifer, you'll see the original names were adversary meaning the people that wrote the Bible didn't name them. It's like me saying there's a criminal, and they way later you making up a name for him. Remember the words son of dawn was in the Young's literal Bible? While son of the dawn is unique to Isaiah 14:12, the imagery of the morning star or shining one can appear in a few other places in the Bible, though not in the exact form as found in Isaiah 14:12. Revelation 22:16, YLT, refers to Jesus as the bright morning star. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. 2 Peter 1:19, YLT, also uses the term morning star, until day may dawn and a morning star may arise in your hearts. Did you see that? Until day may dawn and a morning star may arise in your hearts. That's not even talking about a person. So we have go with adversary. Remember, this is what the fallen angels represent. Fallen angels symbolize rebellion, sin, and the consequence of turning away from God. They are often depicted as agents of chaos or temptation. The question is, are there any mentions of the word fallen angel in ancient texts? No, I can't find any, and that's because it was a term used way later after the actual events of the fallen angels. Just like we have the words Lucifer and Satan and Holy Trinity, these were all added later. What would be the connection, if any, to the Anunnaki and the fallen angels?
Was there a group of Anunnaki that turned their back on the main god, Enlil? Remember, I've proved with evidence that the Anunnaki were the gods in the Bible, and that Enlil was called the Most High, same as the Bible. In Mesopotamian art and literature, gods were sometimes described as possessing aura or brightness, just as it mentions in the Bible. Mesopotamia was where the Anunnaki gods settled when they arrived here from their planet. There are three main stories from before the Bible about a group of people that were against Enlil at that time. The first group, called the Igigi, these were the sons of the Anunnaki. Anunnaki were the older gods. Remember, their race name is gods. So the Igigi were the younger ones.
To watch the rest of this documentary, where it clearly shows with evidence who the fallen angels were, visit ourtruehistory.co.uk. There you will find over 1,000 other long documentaries from a wide range of subjects: Bigfoot, crystal skulls, modern aliens, and so much more. Thanks for watching.
Shroud of Turin.
The Shroud of Turin is a linen cloth displaying a faint image of a man, front and back, seemingly depicting signs of physical trauma consistent with crucifixion. Measuring approximately 4.4 meters, 14 feet 5 inches in length, and 1.1 meters, 3 feet, in width, 7 inches. In width, the image is superficial, existing only on the topmost fibers of the cloth. The depicted man has folded hands in front of his pelvis, and the wounds on the body align with crucifixion, including thorn-like marks on the head, wounds on the wrists and feet, and a side wound. Intriguingly, the image on the shroud is a photographic negative, discovered only in the late 19th century when photographs were taken. Bloodstains appearing brownish are present around the head, wrists, and feet, resembling wounds from a crucifixion. While some interpretations suggest a resemblance to traditional depictions of Jesus Christ, the authenticity of the shroud remains a contentious subject. In 1988, radiocarbon dating placed the shroud's origin between 1260 and 1390 CE, supporting the argument that it could be a medieval creation. In 2019, Italian scientist Liberato De Caro and his team from the Institute of Crystallography in Bari, Italy, conducted a study using wide-angle X-ray scattering to reevaluate the age of the Shroud of Turin. The findings, published in 2022, but only recently gaining wider media coverage, suggest that the shroud could be around 2,000 years old, aligning with the time when Jesus is believed to have lived. The researchers propose that the shroud's cellulose fibers have aged slowly since the 14th century due to the cooler temperatures in the environments where it was kept, implying that most of the aging occurred before the 1300s. According to their analysis, the natural aging of the linen fibers, as determined by X-ray techniques, suggests that the shroud is significantly older than previously thought based on the 1988 radiocarbon dating, which placed it in the medieval period. However, the study's conclusions rest on the assumption that the shroud was stored in the stable conditions, specifically at an average temperature of around 22 degrees Celsius, 71.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and 55% relative humidity for about 1,300 years prior to its historical appearance. Past controversies have surrounded De Caro's work, including a 2018 study that was retracted by the journal PLOS1 due to concerns about research quality and potential bias. The previous study, which argued that the shroud contained evidence of trauma consistent with crucifixion, faced criticism for inadequate controls and questionable sample provenance. Notably, the authors did not disclose that the samples were provided by an organization that promotes the belief that the shroud is authentic, raising concerns about impartiality. To delve into the authenticity, several questions arise. Are there other objects with a similar appearance? If it's a forgery, what might be the purpose of creating such a cloth? If authentic, how did the image appear on the shroud? Does the blood on the shroud belong to Jesus? The phenomenon of pareidolia is brought into focus. Pareidolia is a psychological tendency to perceive familiar patterns, such as faces, in unrelated stimuli. This can be seen in recognizing faces in clouds, rock formations, or in this case, the Shroud of Turin. The faint and indistinct nature of the image on the shroud could lead to pareidolia, where individuals interpret facial features, possibly influenced by the significance attached to the shroud in religious contexts. Recently, people have used AI, artificial intelligence, to see what computers make of the image. They do agree it looks like a person and have produced a realistic picture of what the AI believes the man would have looked like. For us simple humans, the shroud's interpretation involves a blend of historical, religious, and scientific perspectives. People might see different things based on their beliefs and cultural backgrounds. As for the question of whether Jesus would have had a beard, historical and cultural context indicates that it was common for Jewish men of that era to wear beards. The appearance of Jesus, including whether he had a beard, is not explicitly described in the Bible. However, cultural and historical context suggests that during the time and region in which Jesus is believed to have lived, 1st century AD in the Middle East, it was common for Jewish men to have beards. The Jewish tradition, influenced by religious laws in the Hebrew Bible, Old Testament, often considered beards as a symbol of masculinity and adherence to cultural practices. In Christian religious art and iconography, Jesus is commonly depicted with a beard. Of course, Jesus wasn't the only that would have had a beard, so we can't say it's Jesus based off the beard. There have been reports of individuals discovering what they believe to be the image of Jesus or the Virgin Mary in patterns on burnt toast, tree bark, potato chips, and water stains on walls or ceilings. AI has also shown this images to be a real person, when clearly in these cases it's not. It shows AI is trained on the types of images we see. Seeing the shape of a face, the computer will try to produce a human face from the image on the burnt toast. These sightings often gain attention and may be considered religious relics by some. However, these instances are generally attributed to pareidolia. Notably, the Sudarium of Oviedo is a cloth believed by some to have covered the head of Jesus after his crucifixion. Like the Shroud of Turin, the Sudarium has been studied for forensic and historical evidence and is kept in the Cathedral of San Salvador in Oviedo, Spain. While pareidolia may explain various sightings, the Shroud of Turin stands out due to the presence of bloodstains. To determine if the blood belongs to Jesus, a direct comparison would be needed with official Jesus's blood, which is not available. Without the authenticated blood for testing, the blood found on the shroud remains unverifiable as belonging to Jesus. It's akin to discovering blood from Bigfoot and submitting it for testing. While we have extensive databases of most animal species' blood and DNA for comparison, inconclusive results might suggest an unknown or unidentified species. Instances of blood found in the woods, especially near unidentifiable fur, have led to such tests, occasionally yielding puzzling outcomes. Interestingly, within the DNA and blood samples of Bigfoot, traces of human DNA are found. This human DNA is generic in nature. Humans, in the broader context of DNA similarities, share a substantial portion of their genetic makeup with various organisms, underscoring common ancestry and evolutionary connections. Here are examples of organisms or entities exhibiting DNA similarities with humans. Humans share a close evolutionary relationship with great apes, including chimpanzees, bonobos, gorillas, and orangutans. The DNA similarity between humans and chimpanzees is estimated to be around 98 to 99%. Beyond great apes, other primates such as monkeys and lemurs also share genetic similarities with humans. Humans, being mammals, share common mammalian characteristics and genetic features with a wide array of mammals, including dogs, cats, elephants, and whales. As vertebrates, humans share certain genetic traits with other vertebrates, encompassing fish, birds, reptiles, and amphibians. Despite substantial differences, fruit flies have been extensively studied in genetics. Certain fundamental genetic processes are conserved across species. Commonly studied in genetics, the roundworm Celegans shares some basic genetic mechanisms with humans. Used in genetic research, yeast, a single-celled organism, exhibits conserved genetic pathways with humans. With generic human DNA being in many things, can we trust the blood on the shroud? Ron Wyatt, an amateur archaeologist known for his controversial claims, reported that he found blood samples on what he believed to be the Ark of the Covenant. According to Wyatt, these samples...
To watch the rest of this documentary, visit ourtruehistory.co.uk. There you will find over 1,000 other long documentaries from a wide range of subjects: Bigfoot, crystal skulls, modern aliens, and so much more. Thanks for watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get evidence here from this person that doesn't follow me that Tiamat was destroyed by reptilians. Now, he was posting on a video where I showed that our solar system was created by water. That's now backed up by mainstream as well as the ancient tablets. So, to this person that doesn't follow me, you did carry on with a couple of other video posts saying, that what you're saying is the truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have the evidence, and we need evidence. Don't just point me to a YouTube. We need the evidence of reptilians destroying a planet called Tiamat. Now, in the ancient tablets, it talks about Nibiru smashing into Tiamat, creating the asteroid belt and Earth. But this person has obviously got other evidence. So, when you realise you haven't got it, just follow me. It's a lot easier than making up a load of rubbish. But we'll wait. We'll wait. This is a fair question. Phoenix has asked how we can read Sumerian language and actually pronounce it. Now, the reading obviously is done by many other different languages that have said the same thing, so they can work out. It's like a sort of Rosetta Stone. But it's the point about what it sounds like, because the Sumerian is a dead language. Now, there are people such as Irvin Finkel, who's the head curator of British Museum, that can read it. And when he reads it, it sounds sort of almost like Arabic, the way he talks. Walang sha, dong, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, what if it wasn't like that? What if it was actually more like, we've got different dialects here and different accents here in on Earth. So why couldn't it have been, more squeaky, for example? And we're assuming it's deep, but maybe it's not. Any linguistics out there? I am just editing the video on who Enki was as a Greek and Roman god with evidence. Now, here's a bit that you're going to find fascinating when it talks about the Lachmu heroes in Sumerian. And Lachmu meant Mars. So I'm just going to play a couple of bits for you.
Heroes were fetched for him. The warrior, Elul, addressed them.
So I'm just going to run it on.
Horse. There was a horse called the Kungas, and it was only ever in Mesopotamia. Funny, that's where the Anunnaki were. Now, this is what mainstream say about the ancient horse called Kungas, in an article where they talk about finding these rare horses.
So, cut a long story short, it looks like the Anunnaki brought down these slope-back horses from Mars, and you'll see far more evidence that goes along on my video that's going to be out tomorrow. Thanks. If you know, you know. This is Sumerian, not Greek. This was before the Greeks had Pegasuses, and this is a centaur, also from Sumerian, before Greeks had it. If you want to learn more about all of this, This latest video that's out, by the time you're watching this, probably already out, called Enki, which Greek and Roman god was he, covers obviously Poseidon and Enki and Neptune creating animals, in fact, and creating horses as well, if you know their stories. So feel free to watch that. You can get to it from my website, which is ourtruehistory.co.uk. And here's one about Enlil, which was Greek and Roman god, and that's the Enki one there that will show you why the Anunnaki had Pegasuses way before way before the Greeks had it, and centaurs and cyclopses and so much more. Enjoy. Did you know Enki and Poseidon, who were one of the same, actually both created horses? Have a listen to this. This will blow your mind. It's from my latest video called Enki, which Greek and Roman god was he? But have a listen to this.
Now, here's a funny coincidence. The planet Mars was called Lamu, and the Anunnaki used that as an away station. See my other videos. Look at this ancient text. Here in the Atrahasis tablet it says, Ea kept guard over the bolt that bars the sea, together with his Lamu heroes. Above, Adad made his rain scarce, blocked below, and did not raise floodwater from the springs. And then this passage, Enlil made his voice heard and spoke to the vizier Nusku, have the 50 Lamu heroes fetched for me. Have them brought in to my presence. The 50 Lamu heroes were fetched for him. The warrior, Enlil, addressed them. We, the great Anuna, all of us, agreed together on a plan. Anu and Adad were to guard above. I suggested in a video I made a while back that the heroes are horses from Mars, but not like the horses we have now. The ones way back had sloped backs, and I said I believed they were changed by the Anunnaki to have an almost domesticated horse. There was a horse called the Kungas, and it was only ever in Mesopotamia. Funny, that's where the Anunnaki were. Now, this is what mainstream say about the ancient horse called Kungas, in an article where they talk about finding these rare horses numbering around 50. The equid bones unearthed at El Mara were hybrids. Probably definitely the mythical Kungas, according to genetic study, making them the earliest known hybrids developed by humans. The researchers behind the discovery, which was published January 14th,
I'm just going to run it on a little bit, you get the idea.
Also determined which species have been extremely difficult for ancient breeders due to their quick, undomesticated nature. This would explain why these Kungas were so expensive and prestigious, Kegel says. They were prized as war animals too. Ancient records show the successor states of the Sumerians. The Kunga bones for the latest study came from a princely burial complex.
So, I won't bore you, but if you're fascinated by the Anunnaki and which Greek and Roman god was Enki, and the creatures that Enki genetically created, and obviously there's more evidence in this video, I haven't even touched on it here on this video. But yeah, so if you're interested, all you have to do is go to my website, ourtruehistory.co.uk, and type in Enki at the top and the search bar, and you'll find this particular, there's loads of Enki videos, but look for the one which is called Which Greek and Roman God Was He? Enjoy. I'm just putting the finishing touches on the Ark of the Covenant video, and I thought I'd show you guys something quite fun that's in the video. So here it is on the timeline. So I'm just going to press play, have a listen, and you'll realise why this video is probably going to be the world's best video on the Ark of the Covenant.
Of the Torah, written by Moses, may have been placed near or inside the ark. Some rabbinic traditions speculate that the shattered pieces of the first set of tablets, which Moses broke, were also stored in the ark alongside. So
it goes on to talk about what's possibly in the ark based on all this stuff. Now have a listen to this.
They don't sound like technology, but to be fair, what a load of rubbish. None of that old tat was worth walking around with a heavy box. Or was it? Clearly there was something else inside because of the stories that people who were in possession of it would win the battle. The Philistines.
So you can get the idea. Video's coming very, very soon, guys. Amazing. I've just uploaded a video where I did a live chat with ChatGDP. Yes, I know it's spelt wrong. That was using AI, not me. And it's about Bigfoot. So it's the paid for ChatGDP as well, where it talks properly. So if you're interested, this is now on my higher tiered Patreon page, which is only a couple of pounds, and you still get over 200 videos as well, documentaries on things. But if you want to see or listen to a video where I'm debating with ChatGDP and basically making sure that it's not being dishonest and talking about Bigfoot, in fact, and the Dyatlov Pass incident and stuff like that, it's quite interesting. So it's me, my knowledge against ChatGDP's knowledge. So that's now out, just released on my Patreon page, if you're interested. I know. I've done this so many times when people say to me the Anunnaki were dark-skinned. The Anunnaki that created us Homo sapiens and then bred with those Homo sapiens to give us Homo sapiens sapien, which ended up being white. So the original Homo sapiens were dark-skinned over in Africa. So anyway, as I normally do to these people that keep telling me that they've got evidence that the Anunnaki were dark-skinned, because you must have evidence to be able to say they were not white, so you must have evidence to show that they were a different colour. As I normally do with people, I ask for the evidence. You will never get back to me. No one ever does. So don't feel bad. It's not me picking on you. It's just because people say this and then they just disappear when I ask for the evidence, because there is none. The closest we have is the offspring off of the Anunnaki, which were white, such as Noah. And so that gives us the impression they were white. I'm not even going to comment on this one. I'm just going to let everyone read it and make up your own mind. Just read it, guys. Read it. So this person that doesn't follow me has said the Anunnaki were a mixed species, but then says that then it's not really the colour. However, then they actually then say, although the royal lineage had dark skin, so it is kind of colour is where you're going with this. So if you could show me any evidence whatsoever. Now, Billy Carson said that they were a mixed species, and I asked him for the evidence of that, and he never showed it, because there is none. But I'm asking you, because obviously you don't follow me, and you've come onto my channel and said something, and I go by evidence, not just by guessing. So I can show you the evidence that the Anunnaki's sons were pale skin, blue eyes, blonde hair, which more than likely means that the parents were the lighter skin because their planet is further away from the sun. And obviously over in Africa, the Homo sapiens were dark skinned. So anyway, show me the evidence that they were mixed race. I will wait and wait and wait and wait.
Many of them made you believe they were gods and allowed...
This is where I have to shut him down for good, really. Sorry. So the Anunnaki didn't make us believe they were gods because we wouldn't have known what gods were. They could have said they were Superman or Spider-Man or anything. We wouldn't know what a god was. There was no god. In fact, their race name, Anunnaki's race name, is God. So there is no way they would have pretended to be a god because we wouldn't have known what a god was. They created us. Bashar says they created us. So there's no way they needed to pretend they were gods if they've created us. Because we wouldn't know what a freaking god was. Sorry, Bashar. I have to call you out finally. Don't mean to do it, but that's just crap.
Fact. Is anything in there historical fact?
Very little, probably.
So this person's referring to the Bible and saying that although they've studied it, there's very little in there that's fact. What they don't actually do is what I do, which is study absolutely everything. Because once you realise that the Bible's a copy of the older texts, you then realise, yes, many of those things were fact. Now, they actually got the wording wrong and some translations wrong, etc. Back in the day, I'm not talking about modern times, I'm talking about the Hebrews translating it from Aramaic, Assyrian, Hittite, Babylonian and Sumerian, for example. So they did get some things wrong. But we do actually have the evidence of the things that the Bible's talking about in older cultures. So that's where the Bible gets it from. So if you're interested in learning, all you have to do is go to my website, ourtruehistory.co.uk, and you'll see with evidence, 100% evidence, the things that I'm just talking about.